Yeah, so maybe you thought the EV6 was a little too conventional in its design. Well, guess what? You might like this facelifted version because we do get Kia's new signature lights here. It's all about the angles. There's a lot of them. And what's interesting about this design as well is it's not just the lines that make up the headlights. Check this out. We get this hood is always kind of dipped down real low to give you that real aerodynamic shape. But it's really cool, from this angle you can see. Look at how there's this like three-dimensional effect to the design as well. So just it's just really, yeah, it's something interesting to look at, isn't it? And with this facelift, we do get some updated wheels as well. Kia loves these kind of symmetrical, geometric designs, don't they? But if you don't like that design, yeah, there's on the GT line here, there's another option. It's a little bit more open, a little bit more airy. So obviously it's going to be less aerodynamic, but yeah, it's still got that geometric design to it. And then this is what I was telling you about on the headlights. You see how they added that little triangular section? Well, on the GT line here, they actually added a light bar that goes all the way across the front. And you can see that too. They got it on there as well. So that's only the GT line. And, they've kind of been, I don't know if you've even noticed this. Like this is the updated Sorento. You can see there, they added it to the taillights, that little design, triangular design. And on the profile here, you can see it's pretty much unchanged. Besides the wheels, it's going to look, basically the same. And remember, this is a very large vehicle. The design is deceiving. It kind of hides the size. A typical person, this is like 6 feet tall, is actually something like this. And so even though, the looks of this thing haven't changed much on the side here, we do get some nice updates. So actually they say they strengthen the B-pillar here. So it's bigger, it's stronger, it's more resistant. So I don't know. Hey, were the side impact crash test rating on this thing, was it not that good? It must have been because, not only did they do that, but they added some side impact airbags for the second row as well. And then guess what? We do get an updated battery pack down here. So the old one was 77 kilowatt hours. It's 84 kilowatt hours now, and it is capable of that fast charge. So, it's like 10-80% in less than 20 minutes. If you can find a 350 kilowatt charger, good luck finding that. And then on the back side here, you can see the taillights. The taillights are actually unchanged, which, that's not a bad thing. They had a really cool design to them, didn't they? The only thing they kind of tweaked is the design on the rear bumper here. Kind of, the black garnish that they put on. This is the GT line. You can see, it's just this little piece there. On like the wind trim, it's actually an even smaller section here. And what's interesting, either one that you go for, it's kind of just in the center of the bumper. Whereas the old model, you could see like the black trim actually went all the way down there, like towards the wheel. In fact, you can see it. Yeah, you can see it a little bit better here. Now on the inside, we do get some big updates here. In fact, you might be looking at this thinking it doesn't look any different. Well, guess what? There's some new steering wheels here. Kia, they do this like 2-spoke design, and somehow they actually make it look good somehow. If you don't like that, this is like the wind trim. The GT line trim gets this kind of beefy 3-spoke design, 2-tone. Yeah, it's kind of a cool look as well. In comparison, this is the old model. So that is interesting, but what's really interesting is they've updated the screens here. So, they're still the same screens. There's two 12.3-inch screens, but the bezel, look at this. See how the old bezel, it kind of had this like angle on the side of it, didn't it? Well, these new ones, you can see it's just completely vertical. And this is, of course, they're using their updated screens in this thing. So it's the same size, but they are updated. And, what does that mean? Yeah, it means you get the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So you might like that. And then, you know, if you weren't a fan of gloss black, this is the old model. There was a lot of it. Guess what? Yeah, they've actually gotten rid of it. You can see here, it's the same, again, it's the same part. It's the same piece. It's just like, it's more of like a matte black now. Now, what's interesting about this interior update is, yeah, it's kind of weird. Like the old GT line, it had this really cool design on the dash, didn't it? It was just kind of an interesting thing, something you didn't really see a whole lot of. So yeah, this is the new GT line. They got rid of it. It just looks like the dash just looks like the base model now. Although hey, they still give you the little badge. If you actually go for the wind trim here, you do get a little design detail there. And it's kind of weird too, because you know that triangular design cue ties into, you know, what we were talking about on the front lights. And if you're thinking, you know, this new interior, you know, while it's mostly the same, somehow it looks a little bit more upscale. Yeah, well, guess what? It's not just the appearance. They say they made this thing a lot quieter. So the electric motors themselves have been tuned to produce less noise. But then guess what? There's also additional sound deadening material on top of that. So yeah, I mean, it should be much quieter.